We knew about Sebring and were working on Sebring for months before we ever set foot in town.
Wow.
So we had, we had undercover agents were here.
Napier's story begins in Collins, Mississippi, where he was born on September 24, 1983. He grew up in a home filled with faith, guidance, and community service because both of his parents, Benny and Wayne, were Methodist ministers. Life in the Napier household was busy and joyful. Ben was one of 4 boys, and with 3 brothers Jesse, Tom, and Sam, the house was always full of energy, laughter, and even competition. Games in the yard, arguments over dinner, and races to finish chores created a spirited atmosphere. That sibling rivalry actually shaped Ben's strong sense of independence and work ethic. His childhood wasn't just about having fun, it was about learning values like responsibility, teamwork, and faith. But his early life also had challenges. When Ben was a teenager, his family moved to North Carolina because his parents were given a new church assignment. This meant he had to leave his friends, familiar school, and everything he knew behind. That move made him realize that home is not only a physical place but also something you create with love, care, and effort. This lesson stayed with him and later became a guiding principle in both his personal life and television career. Even as a teenager, Ben was developing the values that would later define his success: a love for community, the strength to start over, and the belief that hard work could bring people together. After finishing high school, Ben returned to Mississippi and enrolled at Jones County Junior College. At first, it was just a small campus surrounded by pine trees, but it gave him direction and purpose. One day, he picked up some wood scraps and built a simple shelf. It wasn't perfect, but it gave him joy, and that joy slowly grew into a passion for woodworking. Around this same time, fate introduced him to Erin Raspberry, who would later become his wife. She was working as the design editor for the college yearbook, and Ben was active in student leadership. Their paths crossed, and something clicked instantly. Within 6 days of knowing each other, they were convinced they would get married. They called that week Love Week, and even now, they celebrate it every year as something even more special than their anniversary. After college, they both transferred to the University of Mississippi, where Ben studied history and Erin focused on art and design. Their relationship became stronger as they created and built things together. Ben spent his free time in the campus woodshop, while Erin focused on painting and printing. Their bond was built on creativity, shared goals, and a belief in building not just a future, but a meaningful life. Ben also worked as a student minister, balancing his faith with his growing love for woodworking. By 2014, he made a decision to step away from church ministry and focus on woodworking full-time. For many people, it was a surprising move, but for Ben, it was a new way to serve others by restoring homes and creating spaces where families could thrive. On November 22, 2008, Ben and Erin tied the knot at the University of Mississippi. The wedding day was memorable not only because of their love, but also because it was the coldest November 22nd ever recorded in Oxford, just 46 degrees. Erin wore a beautiful lace gown, and Ben's father, who is also a minister, officiated the ceremony. The couple drove off in a cherry red vintage Corvette, starting their new life together like a scene from a movie. But marriage was not always easy. They lived in a small apartment, and money was tight. Erin worked in graphic design while Ben continued with ministry. Their schedules were demanding, and their dreams were still uncertain. Still, they stuck together, renovating a small loft with very little money, showing how determination and teamwork could overcome hardship. By 2014, Ben resigned from his youth minister position at Laurel First United Methodist Church. For many, it was shocking, because his family was deeply connected to church ministry. But Ben wasn't abandoning faith. Instead, he wanted to pursue woodworking and community restoration as another form of service. With a close friend, Josh, he transformed the basement of a century-old building into a woodshop. It was dark, gritty, and far from perfect. But it was the foundation of what would become Scotsman Co. Ben's woodworking brand. He started by crafting cutting boards, butcher blocks, and furniture made from American hardwoods like cherry, maple, and walnut. Customers loved them, not only because they were beautiful, but also because they were practical and durable. His business slowly grew, and so did his vision for making a lasting difference. The couple's big break came almost by accident. In 2014, their renovated cottage was featured in Southern Weddings magazine. It was just a simple story about newlyweds fixing up an old house, but it caught the attention of an HGTV executive. That single magazine feature changed their lives forever. Soon, conversations turned into a pitch, and a pitch turned into a reality TV show. On January 24, 2016, Hometown premiered. Unlike other home renovation shows, this one wasn't about glitz or drama. It was about real families, real homes, and the small town of Laurel, Mississippi. Ben and Erin's authenticity shone through. They weren't trying to be celebrities. They just loved old houses and wanted to bring life back into forgotten communities. Viewers quickly connected with their warmth and sincerity, and the show became a hit. By staying in Laurel rather than moving to Los Angeles or New York, they proved that success didn't require leaving behind your roots. Their renovations not only transformed houses, but also revived the local economy. Tourists started visiting, new businesses opened, and former residents even moved back to Laurel. The success of Hometown led to spin-offs like Hometown Takeover and Ben's Workshop. Each project showed the couple's growing influence, not just on television, but in real communities across America. What made their story so powerful was that their work wasn't just for TV. It was part of their mission to make small towns feel important again. Despite their rising fame, Ben and Erin stayed grounded in their values. In January 2018, their first daughter, Helen, was born. Parenthood brought new joy, but also new challenges. Balancing a newborn with the demands of filming a hit TV show was exhausting. Ben realized how much he was missing out on as Helen grew. Determined to live a longer, healthier life for his family, he began a serious health journey. Within a year, he lost 55 pounds, not for the cameras, but to be a present father and supportive husband. Their second daughter, May, was born in May 2021 during the filming of Hometown Takeover. Life became even more chaotic, with two small children, filming schedules, and travel. Erin later admitted it was the hardest period of their lives. Even with family and crew support, the pressure was intense. Still, the couple remained committed to putting family first. They also invested in their own home, buying and restoring a crumbling Victorian house in Laurel for just $14,000. Unlike the homes on the show, this one was deeply personal. Every detail, from the pine trim to the parquet floor, was carefully restored. Their home became a symbol of their values, preserving history, building memories, and proving that with love and dedication, even the most broken places could be beautiful again. In 2022, Ben's reputation faced a shocking test. News broke about a massive welfare fraud scandal in Mississippi involving $77 million meant for poor families. High-profile names like NFL legend Brett Favre and former Governor Phil Bryant were implicated. To the surprise of many fans, Ben Napier's name appeared in court filings. At first, headlines suggested he might have been involved in the scandal. The truth, however, was much less dramatic. According to leaked text messages, the governor once asked Ben if he knew a good cabinet maker who could help with lockers for a sports facility project. Ben simply recommended someone else. He did not build lockers, take money, or participate in any shady deals. His wife Erin quickly defended him online, calling out the reporter who spread the story without full context. The journalist later clarified that Ben had no involvement in the fraud. Still, the damage was done. For many, once your name is tied to a scandal, it leaves a lasting stain, even if you're innocent. While the case exposed corruption at the highest levels, Ben was only a footnote. Yet, the experience was a reminder of how quickly a reputation can be questioned in today's media world. It also showed the importance of having a strong partner like Erin, who stood firmly by his side to protect his name and set the record straight. Another major challenge came in 2023 when Ben developed severe shoulder pain. Years of physical labor caught up with him, and doctors discovered a bone spur and rotator cuff damage. On March 3, 2023, he underwent arthroscopic surgery. Recovery was slow and difficult, with 6 weeks in a sling and months of physical therapy. For someone as hands-on and active as Ben, it was frustrating not to be able to work or even complete simple tasks. The production of Hometown had to adjust, with lighter tools and modified filming schedules. Fans noticed his limited activity, but the show continued. This experience pushed Ben to commit to an even healthier lifestyle. He built a home gym inside a barn, using reclaimed materials for a personal touch. He embraced yoga, intermittent fasting, and even ice baths to heal his body and strengthen his mind. By 2025, he had lost nearly 100 pounds and transformed his health. His journey wasn't about vanity, it was about longevity, energy, and being present for his wife and daughters. Just as things seemed stable, another challenge appeared, this time from the digital world. In 2025, social media was flooded with fake stories claiming that Ben and Erin were divorcing. These rumors were not started by tabloids or gossip magazines, but by artificial intelligence programs creating convincing but false stories. Posts appeared with fake headlines, quotes, and even AI-generated images. TikTok videos and Instagram posts spread lies that the couple's marriage was over. Erin quickly shut down the rumors, posting a strong message that they were still happily married and celebrating 17 years together. She reminded fans that not everything online can be trusted. Unfortunately, the rumors didn't stop there. At one point, false reports claimed that Ben had suffered a heart attack, something that was completely untrue and based on a misused blog post from years earlier. These experiences highlighted the dangers of misinformation in the age of AI. While it was painful for the couple, they chose to rise above it, focusing on their family, health, and ongoing projects. Their response to the rumors reinforced what made them beloved in the first place: honesty, resilience, and commitment to each other. So what really happened to Ben Napier from Hometown? The answer is both simple and complex. He faced rumors, health struggles, and even a brush with scandal. But he never lost sight of what mattered most: family, community, and faith. From a small-town boy with big dreams to a national television star, Ben's journey is a story of resilience and authenticity. Alongside Erin, he has transformed not only old houses, but also the spirit of Laurel, Mississippi, and inspired viewers across the country. Through weight loss, injury recovery, false accusations, and AI-generated lies, Ben has shown that real strength comes not from avoiding hardship, but from how you rise above it. His story is a reminder that in a world filled with misinformation and quick judgments, staying true to your values and protecting the things you love is what matters most. Whether he is restoring a house, building furniture, or simply being a husband and father, Ben Napier continues to embody the belief that home is something you create with love, memory, and effort.